Took a little lunch break and I am back, and we're going to continue and finish off these clouds here. And so this was the gray I was working with. It's a neopastel light gray. I'm going to go a step lighter. I'm going to try this one, which is just a little bit lighter. And not sure if this will work, but let's see if it'll give me a lighter gray. And it does. It gives me a little bit lighter. It's a step lighter than what's down there. We'll use it down here first, see what that looks like. And over here. And then just doing a little lighter than that other gray. Definitely lighter than that. About a shade lighter. So I go back in with my finger and I kind of softened it up a little bit so that the marks aren't too, doesn't have a hard edge on them. So you can just kind of soften with the finger a little bit like that. And I'm actually going to go a step lighter here, but this will work for right here. Here. Yeah, this is a neopastel as well. So again, neopastel on top of itself works just fine. Same with the Sinelia brand. It on top of itself is pretty easy. All right, I'm going to go a step lighter here on some of these. Let's get these in here. So I just took a little lunch break, realizing at about 45 minutes to an hour, I'll take a break and just kind of get my eyes off the painting for a little bit and go either eat something, or sometimes I'll just go for a walk too. And I find that's helpful, so you can see things correctly when you come back to the painting. Okay, so those clouds are really starting to look pretty good. All right, let's go a step lighter. Now to go a step lighter, I could try this white. This is the neopastel white. Let's just see how that will work on top of that. Let's see if it'll give me an even lighter highlight here. Save the white for last. It's a good way to go. Don't start off with white. You start off with the grays, and then you kind of work yourself lighter and lighter till you get to that right brightness. If you start off with the white, then that's as light as you can go. Right? Can't go any brighter than that. Now I could take a sun white, and that would be a nice brighter white. And I don't know if I'll need to do that here. This neopastel white seems to be doing the job. So I want that stronger highlight there on these clouds. problems with stacking it up, then I'll come in with a Sen white or Sen light gray, which will give me even a brighter mark. But I think this will work out. You can always press in, put a little bit pressure down into it, and that just drops a little bit more color down. Okay. Remember, my light is over here, so it's going to be brighter here. Soften that up with the finger. Okay, you can see that's working out pretty well. And I can go back up in here and just hit the tops of these. Certain spots. And in here where we'll have a bunch of foliage, I'm still going to put in some of that. So that'll hopefully come through a little bit when I add the leaves and the branches and stuff. All right. Looks pretty good, I think. I might revisit this after I get the rest of the scene in, but so far I'm liking everything that's happening there. Okay. Make sure the tops of those clouds get that nice highlight from the sun there, coming from this angle. Down into there. And put a little sky here, and I'm going to fill this tree out here. It's way too light. Obviously we're going to fill the tree out, but get some of the sky into that, into the sky holes of the tree where there's a little bit of space between branches and stuff. Same with over here. Try to work in that sky down a little into it. Okay. Right, and you can see the oil pastel picks up some of the color from what it's touching. So eventually what we do here is I just take one of these little wipes and I will clean it up. So I have a nice cleaner tip here to work with. Okay. So just get a nice clean tip here to work with. All right. So I feel like I need to move down into the trees here, and then if we need to readjust the clouds, we will do that. So let's put these aside. Kind of put these to the side just in case I need to come back to it. Now this was a good one for the sky here. So we'll use, or not the sky, the water. Okay, to get a reflection of the sky here in the water. Okay, now let's work on these trees. So I'm going to need a green. Let's see, this is a, I think if this feels like a Van Gogh. Yeah, it's a Van Gogh. Let's just see what that looks like. It's pretty deep green. Right now this tree has a tree trunk and it's right about here. Okay. And then has a darker green. You can see the darkness of that. So let's kind of build out this tree and give it a little bit more of a definition and add to it. I might bring in a Prussian blue to put on top of this here in a second here, but I want to build out kind of this tree. And it's really the biggest tree there, so we want to make him nice and large there. Spreads out. Okay. There's the trunk. Right, I'm definitely adding a Prussian blue. So I'm going to bring over here where my blues are, or it doesn't have to be a Prussian blue, just a darker blue. These are kind of all my variations of the Prussian blue. Different sticks here. Here's the mungyo version. Relatively fresh stick. I'll just leave the paper on this one. And we'll get this, some darkness, some deepness into it. I like the Prussian blue for like that medium value dark. I think it's a good one for it. Kind of build in where the shaded darker parts of that tree is. Now in the picture, you don't see, you just see it's really dark here. In real life, I'd be able to see a lot more of the green into it. And I'm going to need a stump to help with the color. Let's find a stump here. Maybe a different one. I got to get some new stumps. These are all getting kind of dirty. Here, just something with a point to help move that color into spots where I want to put it. A stump really helps with getting into the working the smaller spaces. Right, there's the tree trunk. See, I'm trying to leave some sky holes into that tree. And then this side will be a lighter green, but I gotta put some shadow there into it. So we'll use the Prussian blue for that. Okay, and then we can come back with the stump and kind of smooth that around, move it around, work it in. back in here, I see a lot of this lavender, like a lavender kind of background, whatever, back in there. We'll just use this lavender ultramarine underneath the tree. Trying to get the shape of it almost like the reference picture here, so I'll kind of expand that out a little bit to match that. And then over here, so let's get some light gray. We need a light gray. Maybe this guy right here. This steel gray, it's what it's called, steel gray. And I'll just leave the paper on this one, but we just want to bring that in here. As there's like trees that maybe are branches or something there that don't have any leaves on them that kind of come out. And that lavender, this one. There's just less pigment in this lavender Van Gogh. Just less pigment load on it. Maybe there's a tree there that just doesn't have any foliage. And come back here with this kind of gray to mute that background. Haven't been able to do any plein air for a while, for a week or so, because we're starting to get into the fall. It's been raining a lot, and just haven't been able to get outside in it. I don't have an umbrella that I can attach to my outdoor setup yet, but I want to do that. All right, now let's get in a what I like to call a green gray. That's what this is. It's a Verona green. You can see it's green, but it has some gray in it. I like it for some distant trees that I can see, but are not as strong as this one here. So we'll just kind of put that in there. You can see how I'm putting it in. I'm just kind of pushing up into the sky. Leave a little sky into the holes of it, try to get some indication of maybe some trees behind this big one. And I believe it's called Verona green, I think, and it comes in mungyo, but I've seen this in Van Goghs. This is a mungyo, by the way, and I like it for the distant tree stuff. Okay, and over here, maybe there's a tree right there, definitely right here. You can use the edge of it to kind of get some details, get the tree up into the sky a little bit more. Everything kind of fades off to the back there. You can't really see a lot of details back in here. It's really just faded out, kind of grays out. This is the one that comes forward a little bit more. Right, I even see some pine tree looking things. Right, it's a little bit of a different looking tree. Maybe there's a group of them right there. Yeah, it looks like there is a group of them. Now I'm going to have some foliage hanging down, so I can't see some of this here, but there we go. Drag that down. Come back in with this lavender. And then this light gray. Just different variations of trees. All right. And there we can define where this grass, now this paper is getting in the way a little bit, so move that. So I put that down and I'm rubbing with my finger to change that value slightly. There is a little bridge here. I'm contemplating if I want to put that in or not, but we'll see. I don't even know if it's going to be necessary. Some tree trunks. A little bit more Prussian blue on this side. There's some bushes, and so I'm going to do like the shadowed part of the bush. There seems to be some bushes or some plants kind of in the grassy part that I can see a faintness of. Right, and then the water shoreline, we'll put a line there. Take the finger and go right over the top to change it. Changes the value of that color. And then I don't really like this line to show right there, so I'm going to kind of come over with this lavender. Maybe a little bit darker gray for some of those. There we go. One of these trees that don't have any leaves on it. Okay. Then we'll bring in that light grass here, that'll really shape it up. All right, let's take some more of this here, come up and make some more trees in distance. Nose nose is kind of runny, so sorry about that. And there's one here. You can see the top of it. There'll be another tree right here. Here's the other tree, which is kind of a bigger one right in front of all that. Let's bring some Prussian blue to this, because it looks a little dark over here, darker. Work in the darkness of the tree, and then we'll come in with some lighter greens to really make them stand out. I like this Prussian blue a lot for this kind of stuff. This kind of middle area darkness is great for that. And then if you need to, you can always take the finger over and kind of push it in, kind of change it, how dark it is, make it a little lighter possibly. And push in more pressure, gives me more color, makes the color look stronger and darker. So pressure really helps with getting the value when it comes to oil pastel, the color value just right. Okay, getting that middle area worked out. Try to keep my edges softer there. So a good way to doing that is just taking your finger right over it and just softening the edges of those marks. Nice, it's working out, starting to really work out there. So I just lay the color down and I come back with my finger and then I soften it up. Kind of smear that a little bit. Over here there is an indication of a tree, but it's not really in focus. There's not a lot of detail in it, but I do need to create the darkness of it over there. Makes it look like there's something there. Okay. Let's see, maybe a little bit more on this one. Another idea is to take a stump and kind of do the same thing. with it as my finger. Sometimes I have a little bit more control with the stump. There's another tree or something right in there. Okay. Now we add this grass, this bright green, it's really going to bring in some color and some highlights to it. So I'm getting ready for that pretty soon here. Alright. Trying to move a little fast here. Trying not to make my videos so long. I'm already 30 minutes into this segment. You can see I can just work a lot of that Prussian blue and use varying amounts of pressure to get a darker or lighter, or come back in with my finger and make it lighter, or come back in with more and make it darker, come into the water here with a little bit of it, spread it out to lighten it up. Right here, same as well. There's basically, it's just dark here in the water, and then you take the finger and just go horizontal. So easy to do with smooth paper. This is so easy. Make those reflections look realistic. Reflecting that big tree right here, and then over here, although I don't see a lot of water, I'm still going to indicate it right here. The key with water is make sure that it's blended flat, horizontally flat. That's the big key with it. Okay. Put a little color down and then just blend it horizontally like that. Okay, and then it starts looking like water. And you come in with a lighter color and bring in some lighter, kind of into that a little bit. Soften that edge in the water. All right. I think it was actually this one that was the original. It's a little bit more bluer into the gray. As we get down into this area of the water, I can see more blue into it. Right in here. A lot of this bush is going to come up and cover a lot of this up, but just in case I see some of it peeking through, I have the right color there that I want. Okay, looking pretty good. Now let's bring in some highlights to this tree. So I'm going to bring in some green. So I'm going to need in maybe this one. That's a, I think that's a neopastel, and some lighter ones, and then something for that grass. Maybe this really bright green. I haven't even used it. This is a neopastel. Let's see what that one looks like. Yeah, for that grass. Which you can kind of see goes right across that bright grass. Even comes over here.